This video will introduce functions in MATLAB. Previously we've had a look at scripts, such as this force calc script, and we know that they execute a set of instructions and that they have a set purpose. However, there are no inputs or outputs when compared to functions. So if we just take a quick look at one of the functions in MATLAB, for example, the sum function, we see that the sum function takes an input s and x, and returns an output s. So now we'd like to go from a script that has an explicit set of instructions to a function where this function will be used to break down a bigger problem into smaller steps. So if we recall from the last screencast, we saw that the default MATLAB workspace would be filled with the variables of an executed script. However, functions have their own private workspace within this default MATLAB workspace where the variables can't be interfered with. So functions are essentially black box systems which have defined inputs and outputs, but what happens inside of a function will be disguised in a private workspace, and therefore interference with the variables within this function cannot be achieved. So this is different from a script whose variables can be changed. So if I just run the force calc script, we'll see the default MATLAB workspace is populated with this script's variables, and I'm able to change these variables to completely unrelated values. For example, changing the force variable. I've changed it and given it a completely unrelated value, and now it's basically meaningless. So lastly, unlike scripts, functions have help files and documentation associated with them, as we just saw with the help. Using the help feature for the sum function. So just taking another look at this sum function, we can use its help feature to view sum's help file, like so. Now we're able to write our own help files for functions that we create ourselves, and this way we're able to distribute functions that we've written to other programmers, and they can gain a further understanding of what it does by reading the function's associated help file, which is unlike scripts. So the way scripts and functions are constructed are fairly similar. However, we will see that functions are defined in terms of its inputs and outputs. And so now we'll take a look at an example that converts this script into a function.